Sweetie, would you run shut the room to the washroom too?
Yeah.
If that dryer's gonna be picked up. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm giving my daughter orders to shut doors.
Hello.
I love it. So welcome tonight to the Storytime Show. I'm Andi Lore, your author coach and CEO of Story Launch Publishing and creator of the Persona Publishing System. I basically help authors, coaches, content creators take their idea to profit. And so this evening we're going to be starting the first of many lives in a series on platform development. And we spoke about this last week, but we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, and there's some really golden nuggets that I hope you can glean from this. And the first of all, the author platform and how important it is, and you absolutely must have one. And we'll get into that in a minute. But first, I'd like to welcome you all tonight. Again, for those of you just jumping on, you're welcome to comment in the comments. I will see those here and I can get back with you. I am happy to visit with you in private. If you'd like to book a call with me, you can go to myinklinks.com and schedule a conversation and read some of my books and other books there and more about me at myinklinks.com. So with no further ado, I'm going to jump right in our content tonight. And the author platform, basically I want you to think of the author platform as the umbrella to everything you're writing, everything creating. You are creating all businesses that you're working on. And whether you're writing fiction or nonfiction or songs and lyrics to songs or plays, they can all fit under your author platform. So as you're designing and developing this author platform, or even prior to doing that, you have to clarify a few things about your brand. And as authors and content creators, our brands are ourselves. We are our brands. That's the only thing that defines us and distinguishes us from other brands and other resources in the online media world or online world is we personally are our brands. So as we're deciding that and defining that, know what you're about, who you are, what you're like, what's your colors, what's your vibe, what's your jam, what gets you going, and that is your brand. And as you're creating your brand, you want to realize and do some research. We talk about this extensively in our program. You've got to have a pen name, and ideally it should be your own personal name unless there's some reason to keep that out. If there's somebody you're trying to protect, or maybe protect your own family, if there's some issues around your name, involvement, legal issues or whatever. But research your name and make sure somebody else has not written under that name and claim it as your own. You don't necessarily need to copyright your name, but you want to know if somebody's writing under your name. If somebody else has already written a book with your name that has the same name as you, you need to research and find your own unique pen name. I have authors that use their mother's name and their father's mother's name. So their two grandmothers become their pen name. So it becomes an emotional connection to them in their writing. So that's a great way to do it. I don't write under my real name. Andi Lore is my pen name. It's my name, but it's not. It's my nickname. And Lore is my middle name, but my real name is Andrea. And I've always gone by Andi. But I just use that Andi Lore as my pen name. It's me, but you want to research and make sure no one else has used your name. So I won't beat that horse any more than I have. But those are some things when you're creating your author platform and your brand is you want to know what name it's going to be, what name you can choose. So that's a great place to start in knowing what your pen name is and make sure no one else has used your pen name. So getting back to what the author platform is and knowing what this is, this main umbrella that houses all of your content, whether you're writing fiction, nonfiction, screenplays, music, the author platform houses all of that, and your pen name will most likely be your URL, will be your Facebook page, etc. So your author platform is your brand, and this is your reach. It is your email list. It is your podcast. It is your blog posts. It is your LinkedIn profile. It is your Twitter feed. It's everything compromises or compiles to your author platform. It all contributes to it. Okay, and there's not one faucet of this author platform that is more important than the other. It's all important. It's all means a great deal. So the primary thing that we focus on in the Story Launcher, well, that's not very true, but I'll just go ahead and say it. The main thing we want to focus on is growing our readership. Okay, so it can come from every different direction from our author platform, but we want to really focus on our email list and grow our email list. And so we're going to really hone in on this. We've spoken about this in past classes on devising ways, creating a free lead magnet to grow our list. That you can go back and watch those previous, growing and creating an audiobook, or not an audiobook. Sorry, that was in the last class. Creating your lead magnet or your ebook giveaway to grow your list. There's numerous ways you can do it, growing a podcast and growing it that way. But the email list is ideally the best way to grow it, or pre-launches of books. But we're going to touch on each of these topics over the next couple of weeks on different strategies of how you can grow your author platform, beginning with the email list, because that going into publishing books, when you receive a rejection letter from a publishing company, a publicist, the number one, besides a really crappy book, like I've mentioned this last week, the number one reason why they reject potential authors for books, is because they do not have an email list, or they've not mentioned their email list in their query. When you've pitched an article or a book to a publicist, if you don't say, I have this big of an audience, or if it's just a little tiny audience, they're not going to take your book, because they like to see how many potential customers you can sell to. So that's what they're looking for. So that's what we're focusing on, because those are those numbers. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's what's imperative to the publishing houses, is how many books you're going to sell, whether they like your book or not. So we're going to focus on that. We're going to start talking about building our email lists and creating lead magnets, whether that be in an ebook, a quiz, a recipes, whatever that is. Most likely in our situation, as we're creating books, this is really simple. Just make it your first chapter of your book. Okay, so we'll talk about more on that in the next Storytime show. And I wanted to touch on the Storytime show. The purpose of this is to give you all a platform to share your creative ideas and your works that you're working on. So I would love to invite you, if you are interested in reading some of your work in progress, please give me a shout out, private message me, or comment below and the live here, and let me know, and we'll get you on these shows, because that's what the Storytime show is all about. I've turned them into little mini workshops for everybody to help you get your writing out there and get involved with publishing. But the purpose of this show is so you guys can have a place to come, get out of your comfort zone, gain some feedback on your writing. If you're not comfortable reading it out here in a live setting, send it my way. I'm happy to read it. And you can also just post it, because we're happy to read things as well. So if you do have some content that you'd like feedback on, please share them in this group. We're a very small, tight-knit group. It's safe here with us. It's not, I promise it's not going to get shared. It's safe here in the group, and we'd love to give you some feedback. Also, if you'd like actually written critiques on your work, we're happy to do that as well. So give me a shout out, and I can get you involved in our writing critiquing group as well. So with no further ado, I'm going to pop off here. I've got a kiddo that has homework to do, and back to the school grind, right? I love it. I'm so glad we're back in school. We are in Wyoming anyway. So we'll see you all next week. We're going to talk more about platform development and creating lead magnets and growing your email list next week. We're here at 7:30 now on Wednesdays. I did have to up the date or the time up on Wednesdays to allow for our Story Crafters group, which comes at 7 o'clock. And if you're interested in learning how to join that group, it's a little more in-depth and detailed and fine-tuned, but you can give me a shout out at myinklinks.com. I can post it, well, I can't post it out to you. Myinklinks.com. All my links are there. It's my link tree, platform, whatever you want to call it. But give me a shout there and I can get you in the Story Crafters group at the top of the hour, the other side of the hour at 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, and then this is always going to be now at 7:30 on Wednesdays. So share the love. If you know somebody that's writing a book and needing some insight, some feedback, some tools, send them my way, and I'm happy to do what I can do to get the ball rolling. And we'll see you all here next week for some more platform development and ebook creation. So like I always say, write on, and we'll see you all next week. Have a blessed rest of your evening and a lovely week. Enjoy the sunshine while it lasts. So take care. Night, everybody.